Yes. So basically, IELTS is an exam that you have to give when you want to, move abroad for either studying or working. It completely depends upon, the requirement. You have to give your, either you have to give your academic IELTS or your general IELTS. So, it's almost similar, but there are minor changes. In your academic IELTS, in the writing part one, you have to write, you have to describe a bar graph or a pie chart, whereas in your, general IELTS, you have to write a letter. So it depends based on your, whatever you choose. And, based on that, you will also have a little differences in your reading as well. Ghazi has actually, raised his hand. Is there anything that you would like to tell me? Ghazi, is there anything that you want to tell me? Is there something? You've raised your hand. Okay. So let me just share screen then. Okay, so the thing is that I'll also be explaining about the course to you, in a while. So please stay and we'll, complete it. Okay, so Ghazi, are you trying to tell me that you can't hear me or you can't speak? Okay. Whatever it is, for once as we're going through the lesson, any doubts that you have, just keep them in mind. Either type them out in the chat box or just keep it in mind. At the end, I will, give you a little time where we can have a small interaction and then you can ask me your doubts. So just note them down and keep them in case, you think you might forget or something, just drop it in the chat box. I'll answer all the questions. Okay. So, like I said, we are going to be discussing about the tips and the small, knacks to give your IELTS in a better way. So the first thing that you need to do for IELTS is, it's a very, very obvious thing, but it's a very, very important thing. You have to practice. Okay. How much ever you study, whatever you do, practice is very important, especially for your speaking and listening exam. Writing and reading also, it is equally important, but your speaking and listening will improve only the more you practice. So, please do that. Next is expand your vocabulary through, by studying synonyms. These synonyms play a major part in your IELTS exam because many times they try to, confuse you, or they try to make you write your wrong answers with the help of synonyms or paraphrasing. So please be careful and know your synonyms well. Okay. And next is, see, each of your parts have different type of questions. For example, in writing task 1, you have bar graph, pie chart. In academic, bar graph, pie chart, then you have a diagram. Same way in your reading, you have multiple choice and, true, false, not given, fill in the blanks, match the following. You have so many different things. So what I'm saying is, understand every single question type. Okay. Many of them think that, okay, this question type is not very common. We don't see it much. So let's not study this. Please don't do that. Always, know your question types. And because you're practicing on your own, many times, you don't time your tests. So try your best to time your tests where, set a timer and practice in that required time so that when you're giving your exam, you know exactly how much time you have. Next, very important, and this has to be done in English. Just don't do it in a regional language. Read the news. Okay. Whether it's on paper or online, it's a very formal, crisp language, your news articles. So read your news. Okay. Try getting in touch with your teacher and do a lot of mock tests. Because again, you'll have that real exam feeling, which is very, very important. In case you're not able to do a mock test, do practice tests at least. Red Fox Education offers a lot of practice tests. I will get back to you on that. After that, what I would suggest is, to practice fixed expressions while speaking. Okay. For example, now when you're speaking, you have been asked a question and you're not sure what to answer. You require 2 to 3 seconds to think. So while thinking, many of us make those noises. Okay, so like for example, just now I was like so don't make those noises. So instead of making those noises, what I generally suggest is for you to keep quiet. Okay, but if you're going to keep quiet for more than 3 seconds, it's going to be awkward. So try using expressions, like that's an interesting question, let me think. Or it can be argued that. Say something like this that will give you some thinking time. Okay, do not ignore grammar. Come what may, do not ignore grammar. Okay, okay, do not ignore grammar, and focus on your past, present, and future tense together. Don't use just one tense. It will be very, very obvious, and we don't want that happening. Another thing is, don't attempt using words that you're not sure of the meaning of, or you don't know the pronunciation. Please avoid that. And take your time when doing your test. That is, I mean, you cannot exceed time, but do it calm. Don't rush in, is what I'm saying. Moving forward, a few things that are specific to listening. Okay, so set a very, very realistic goal. Don't think that you should directly get 40 out of 40. Of course you can get 40 provided you practice that much. You practice for just 2 tests and you expect to get 40, then don't do that. Okay, so have a very, very realistic goal. Okay, try to create a routine and stick to it, because that will help you focus, that will help you study better. And see, the goal of what happens is the same listening test people practice again and again and again. Don't do that. We are not here to memorize that test. Okay, those who are raising your hands, could you once we're done, I'll just get back to you. Okay, yes. So listening to the same audio again and again and again, the only thing that will happen is that you will memorize that particular audio, and we don't want that happening. So the basic thing is that you have to improve your language. So to do that, listen to different podcasts. Red Fox Education has a lot of podcasts. Do check, our app. In a while, I'll just, put the app details and everything in the chat box. But you can, listen to our podcasts on the app. You can also, watch a lot of news. You can watch a few movies. So try doing different things that will help you improve your language overall. Automatically your listening score also will be increased. Okay, and while doing this, try to find something that interests you, and choose authentic sources, like proper British accent stuff and US accent or Australian accent. Don't just go ahead for anything local. Okay, and then choosing your material is also important when studying. So when I say choosing your material is important, I mean you require material enough to help you create or help you score that band. So just doing silly essays will not help. It might help you get your practice writing speed, but your level will not improve. So you must try and focus by study by getting really proper authentic material. Okay, next is, when you're listening to an audio, try changing the speed of the audio and see if you can still understand. Just bring it down, then you can increase it a bit and see if you can actually understand what they're saying even after the level of speed changes. Okay, also focus on the overall message. This is something that is important. Do not just focus on what they're saying, but try to focus on the overall message so that you can understand it completely. Okay. Another thing that maybe you can do is take notes while you're listening, at least in the beginning when you start practicing. Take notes and try using these notes to help you later on. Okay, now we have something called assumptions. So give your speaking test completely. This is applicable for reading as well. Give your speaking test completely, and once you're done giving your speaking test, what you must do is, at the end, if there's something that you have left out because you don't know, fill in the blanks. don't leave them empty. Just fill up everything, because there's no negative marking anyway. So just fill the entire thing up, and then we'll see, in case it's wrong, it's wrong. But in case by luck, if it's correct, then you get 1 mark, right? So just don't let there be empty blanks, okay? And also make sure that you fill the answer in the correct number. Many people, when they're doing it in a hurry, they make a mistake. So you should fill your answers in the correct number. Please check that as well. Because when you're transferring and all, sometimes, you tend to, miss that. Now, focusing on a few reading, tips is that choose a variety of scripts to read. Don't just try and read the same kind of thing again and again. In a day, okay, spend a minimum of 20 to 30 minutes on, newspaper articles or blogs. Yes, on newspaper articles or blogs, so that overall your reading practice happens, and it's just not, reading focused only on IELTS. Many people, what they do, many students, they focus on your IELTS stuff. But the thing is that your aim is not to memorize, or that's not an important question paper. So only if you focus overall, you are going to, see some kind of improvement. Okay. Many of you might know what is skimming and scanning in your reading. Do go through that. In case you don't know and you want detailed information about skimming and scanning, just check our, previous webinar videos. I have done, I think, almost 2-3 sessions on skimming and scanning. So just go through that and you will get a clear idea. Okay. If there's something that interests you in one of the text, discuss it with your friends. This way, even your speaking practice happens, and also you have an exchange of ideas, and this will help you better. Okay. Understand all the different question types of your reading, so that so that you don't miss out on anything, and you are able to answer the questions, and nothing comes to you as a surprise. Okay. So now, all of this said, few points that I had mentioned, when I was saying all of those points. So Red Fox Education has these courses, okay, that will help you aid your IELTS really well. There are 3 different courses for, different category of people. Each course, trying to cover that particular need. And you also will get one-on-one counseling. Okay, so based on the counseling, you can decide which course is best for you. There's something called comprehensive, then there's catapult, and then there's fast track. So it depends on your requirement and your standard that a course will be decided and suggested to you by a tutor. So you can always take up a one-on-one, session, counseling session, so that you can choose better. And what you can see on the screen is what your lessons will look like. So this is how your lessons would be. Okay, this is just one of the lessons that I've picked. And along with this, you will also, have pre-recorded videos from British tutors. They will be inside the lesson. Okay. Along with that, you will also have practice tests. You will have a mock session with a British tutor. So there are a lot of things that will be covered in this particular, course. All of the 3 courses. It's just the timing and the duration and other few things change. So you can also take up a test. You can also find a test on the website. You can take up the test to decide which course would be suitable for you. Now coming to all the hands that were raised. You can check in the chat box. There's a link to everything. You can, just go through that. Yes, those who raised hands and, I can only see Ghazi's hand raised on my screen. Is there somebody else? Yes, Masuma. Yes, go ahead. What's your doubt? Please unmute and speak. Or at least type it in the chat box. Masuma? Okay, somebody said.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Actually, I am facing problem to solve reading MCQ section. So, can you please describe it for me?
Could you repeat your question? There's a lot of background noise. I can only hear reading. What were you saying? Reading?
Reading MCQ and
Okay.
list of heading.
Okay. So when it comes to MCQ, the first thing that you must remember is do not read the options. Never read the options in the beginning. That's the first thing that you must follow. The order that is supposed to be followed is read the question, read the passage, and then read the options. Read your question, read the passage, then the options. Okay. If you read the options beforehand, you will be searching for those options in the answer which is not needed. You're actually searching for the answer and then seeing if it is there in the options. Okay. So this is one thing that I can help you with. Yes. I'm sorry, your name is not on the screen. It says Oppo A5s. So what's your doubt?
Masuma.
Masuma nahi, Oppo A5s.
No, okay, sorry. I think someone other is.
Yes, just a second, Masuma. Yes, you go ahead. What's your name?
Ma'am, my name is Suhaib.
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 Suhaib. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Tell me speaking tips.
Speaking tips. Now that you have
Yes.
said speaking tips, I will do a separate webinar on that because we don't have enough time to speak so much about speaking tips. The one thing that I can tell you is that Suhaib, when you're speaking, even if you make a mistake, it's okay. Just continue. As long as you're speaking confidently, in case you make a mistake, you make a small grammar mistake also, people are not going to identify because you're presenting yourself very, very confidently. So this is one thing that you have to follow. So that's why I'm telling you this. For more, you can either subscribe to a course, otherwise you can come back for another webinar. So I will give you a lot of information about your speaking tips. Yes. And Masuma, you were saying?
Ma'am, the other problem is that I didn't get the title of heading. So, what the tips according you? We follow the tips and we get the answer.
Okay, now all of these questions that you all are asking are, the questions are so simple, but the answer you require practice, you really require proper guidance. So I would suggest that you visit the website, you do a counseling, okay? And then, that way you'll be able to get proper help rather than, just one or two tips and then you'll go and you'll use those and then you'll again be upset that they're not working because all of these questions cannot be answered in one sentence. Okay, the examples have to be provided, you have to practice, theories have to be given to you, so there's a lot of work required in that. So just what I would suggest is check out the website, check out the online courses, and then get back and we will do a detailed discussion on all of this. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else anybody else wants to ask me?
Ma'am, in speaking section, if we trapped and didn't get the answer, then what we should do to satisfy our examiner?
Can you repeat that again for me?
Sometimes they ask a question and we don't know about that question. So what should we do in front of examiner?
Tell them that you don't know. They're not gonna reduce your marks because you say you don't know the answer to something. They are testing you only on your communication skills, on your speaking skills. So it's okay. In case you don't know something, just tell them that you don't know that. Simple. Like I mentioned, just check the website, and also you can also drop a message in the group or something in case you want to get in touch with me. My name is Sanchana, and if there's anything, you can always give a call and ask for me. So thank you for today's webinar. I had fun. I hope you all learned something, and I will see you in next week's webinar. Thank you. Bye bye.